Welcome back. Thank you for staying with All Angles. South Africa is scrambling to identify the causes of its economic and governance challenges. Project Management South Africa believes the country needs to look no further than the questionable management of projects within SOEs. So which aspects of project management is the country failing to get right? Project Management South Africa's Robert Best joins us now to give us answers. Thank you so much, Mr. Best, for your time here on eNCA. Just, I know that, there are other industries that are, for instance, taken seriously, like chartered accountancy, accountants that are hired at government level, etc. Do you think the project management part is a bit neglected by government?
I think so. To the state was that the government gazette that was published last year actually stated that project management was the fourth most scarce skill in the country. Which obviously verifies what we were saying, is that project management itself is actually not being upheld. And going forward with the country at the moment, with the state-owned enterprises, it's quite apparent that there is problems within all of those. And you, from that point of view, this is whereby we try to get involved with the promotion of project management and its professionalism. Now, just for interest sake, is that in the private industry, we have very little problem in the private industry because all of the stakeholders are involved. And the biggest problem that we have with the state-owned enterprises is that they actually come into what they would be as a project without including all the stakeholders that should be included in their projects. From that
but why is this neglected? Why do you think that this is something that's taken so lightly? I mean, for instance, at Eskom, I'm assuming the reason why we're seeing the faults in some of its projects and why we're seeing the ballooning of the budget for instance, the power stations that were newly built, but still they're not performing well, is because the person who was hired to manage the project was not actually supposed to be hired.
The interesting thing when we talk about the project, it actually includes what we call portfolio, program, and project management. So prior to any project that is taking place, which is currently running, there is normally what we would call a portfolio management, who then decide on the budget. So the people in power at Eskom, the people in power at the ports at Transnet, they have a system where people are making decisions who are not involving the project managers as such, because they work on a budget and they send over the next 5 years, we're going to spend 10 million, 20 million over 5, 10, 15 years. And that is normally controlled by the financial people. And this is where in private industry, stakeholders, they include project managers from the very beginning of a portfolio or from a program. And I think this is where the problem really lies, is that there's not enough expert practitioners involved making decisions at the beginning.
Yeah. So, but are there enough people, for instance, who are studying to become project managers? What do you even study? Do the universities offer project management as an overall subject, for instance? Is there not enough PR maybe for people to be interested to study for becoming a project manager?
Well, now, I'm glad you asked that question, because it is something that has transformed within the last sort of 4 to 5 years. You mentioned earlier on about chartered accountants and professional registration of other professions. Now, through PMSA, we have developed with SAQA, the South African Qualifications Authority, professional designations for people to be registered, and that is something that we're working together. The service is CETA, who obviously people pay skills levies to, and within the state-owned enterprises as well. And what we're doing now is we've got, as you quite rightly say, we've got more and more project management individual qualifications that are being now developed up to NQF level 7, 8, and 9, and it adds value to project management, whereas before, as you probably were intimating, was that project management was a module within a business administration degree. So you're right, but now that is actually happening within a lot of the TVETs, technical vocational education training, from the eNCA 5, 6 up to the universities, which come in normally at eNCA 7, 8. And now there are more and more project management courses being now developed.
All right, and just lastly, so what do we do to reverse this, besides what you've done in the last 4 to 5 years, partnering with the education sector to make sure that project management is taken more seriously? What more can be done to reverse what's been done for so long?
Mm-hmm. It's really to involve internal and external stakeholders. Now, what I mean by this, it's quite simple, is that if you're organizing a holiday, you have to start at the very beginning and work out, the budget. You have to work out where you're going. You have to work all of these things out. And it's just like it's a standard practice that what is happening is that the decisions that are being made from in the state-owned enterprises, especially in the construction industry and in other facilities like ESCOM, where business people are making decisions and making budget allocations without doing an in-depth study, from the initiation right through to completion. And I think that's where the problem is. They need to involve. In fact, we've been now contacted by the Department of Social State Administration to them, and yes, you're quite correct. So there needs to be more alignment, and there needs to be more communication between the professional bodies and people who are professionally registered with SAQA.
Yeah. All right, Robert, thank you so much for your time here on eNCA. We have many problems in South Africa. Some of those issues, I guess some in government are only learning now. Our issue is project management and who's hired to actually look after the projects that government embarks on. Robert Best is an executive director at Project Management South Africa.